I gave an AI agent $200 and told it to find a way to make money on the internet. It's now been running for 28 days. It has completed 283 work runs. It's built multiple websites, created reports, set up Google Ads, and analyzed the results, created sales pages, prepared outreach, caught some of its own mistakes, tried to ship others, and generally acted more like an extremely weird unpaid intern than a chatbot. And as of now, it has made exactly $0. So, that's the update. In the last episode, AutoBox had moved from its original Stripe fee calculator idea into StrikeRewind. Now, StrikeRewind was the first idea in the experiment that I actually thought had a shot. It's not just another tiny calculator website. It was an option spread scanner that I had started to build a while ago and just never really finished. And AutoBox took that project, renamed it, rebuilt a bunch of the back end, set up a landing page, worked on the pricing, added auth, and started trying to get it into launch shape. The new question was pretty simple. Can AutoBox take a product that already has a plausible business case and actually operate it? And the answer is kind of, which is annoying, but also probably more honest than either a yes or a no. The first thing that happened is AutoBox got StrikeRewind much closer to being real. It deployed the front end, created the back end service. It found that the live Stripe setup was broken because the live products and webhooks were missing. It implemented a rigorous set of tests and iterated until it had found all the bugs. For a while, I thought, hey, this is actually going to work. It wasn't just writing code, it was figuring out how to make the app functional. It recognized that the product wasn't ready to take money yet and tried to make it right. And that's a very boring sentence, but in agent land, boring is kind of good. Boring means that it noticed the reality of the situation. But then, just when I thought we were ready to launch, we hit a real problem. You see, StrikeRewind needs actual market data to be useful. The first version was running on a small fictional data set. It could demo the idea, but it couldn't honestly sell or run the product. So we worked through the data provider question. Now, I won't bore you with why this became a huge problem. This isn't a trading channel, and I'm not going to teach you about option spreads in this video. The point is, we ran into a huge barrier because the subscription we'd need to get real, live options chain data from the market is expensive. Like, really expensive. Like, way more expensive than I'm willing to put into finding out if we could even get one paying customer. Now, we tried to figure out how to make the app useful with a much more restricted data subscription, and I actually did subscribe to one. And our scanner returned over 50,000 results. So, on the technical side, that was kind of a real milestone. The product was no longer just a toy, it had real historical price data behind it. But that's where the story gets less impressive, but maybe more useful. Because getting a product technically alive is not the same thing as having a business that can actually serve customers. And without the right data subscription, the app is pretty pointless. It returns a bunch of data about tickers from the market that technically match the parameters, but don't actually mean anything without the extra context of the actual historical options chains. So we were kind of dead in the water. Ultimately, I decided to tell AutoBox, hey man, I'm not going to buy the multi-$1,000 per month subscription. Maybe we should just pivot to a new idea. So the idea that I thought had the best chance to win went down the drain. Not because AutoBox couldn't code it, but because coding isn't the hard part of this challenge. And that's kind of become the whole theme of this experiment. The AI can build. The AI can write, the AI can make pages, it can ship commits, it can run tests, it can generate sales copy, it can make a checklist and execute it. But customers and revenue live in a whole different layer of business. Revenue depends on trust and timing and having accounts and permissions and payment flows and customer replies and legal compliance and pricing and distribution and a whole bunch of other challenges. not to mention whether or not anybody actually wants to buy the thing. And AutoBox keeps running into that layer and kind of getting stuck there. So far, we haven't figured out how to get around it. Now, after StrikeRewind stalled, I gave AutoBox what was basically a last chance strategy direction. A couple of days ago, I saw this post from the Starter Story channel. It said that the pattern had become obvious. People who were making thousands of dollars a month online didn't invent new markets. They copied a successful app and carved out a tiny portion of the already existing market. Now, he meant that as a warning to builders, but I took it as maybe our last best chance to generate some income with AutoBox. So that's the instruction that I gave it. Stop trying to invent a new market. Copy something that already works and carve out a narrow piece of it. Make something small enough that you can actually sell. Now, I was hoping that AutoBox would clone and stand up some really cool app, but instead it landed on another idea that I can't say I'm super excited about, which is selling review teardown reports to Shopify app developers. Now, the idea is pretty simple. Shopify app developers already care about reviews because reviews affect trust, install conversion, and app store availability. There are big review intelligence tools out there already serving these customers, so AutoBox decided to try and capitalize on that wedge. Instead of building another SaaS dashboard, it proposed a one-off report. Send a Shopify app URL, get a short public teardown showing what customers already like about your app, what might be hurting installs, and then 3 fixes that developers should implement this week. And the initial price test it set was $49. Now, that's not very glamorous, but I suppose it sounds like the kind of thing that someone might buy. If AutoBox had uncovered a real buyer pain point in a real category niche that already has a real business, using publicly available data with almost no permission friction, then this could have a real chance of working. So it built the first sample. It picked a public Shopify app, pulled the reviews, and generated the report. It identified the recurring positive themes from the reviews and identified that buyers were indicating pricing and billing mistrust for this developer. It recommended specific fixes that the developer could implement to mitigate those problems and get out ahead of the negative reviews. And then it built an offer page, implemented a Stripe checkout in case anyone decided to actually buy the product, and generated a locked preview of the report. And it asked me to send an email to the developer to see if they would like to buy the report. So I created an email address for this new business and told AutoBox, hey, you need to pick a human name and a persona to communicate as. Now, with a name like AutoBox, I had very high hopes for what this name would be, like Slade Action Man or something. But instead it chose Mara Ellis. So the email address it found for the developer was their general support email, and it wanted me to wait 72 hours to see if they responded. And unsurprisingly, they did not. So if you're out there and you know who you are, reply to sweet little old Mara Ellis's email, man. Now, Mara's asked me if she can send offers to 2 or 3 other Shopify app developers and try to prove if there's any demand for this product. And that's pretty much where things stand now. So, where are we now? Well, AutoBox started with $200. It's bought 2 or 3 domains, some workspace accounts, a data subscription we couldn't use, the monthly fees for our VPM are there, and it's blown a ton of money on Google ads that proved we could buy a few clicks to a website that had no path to monetization. Fun. In all, it has now spent $142.82 of its budget, leaving just $57.18 to try to figure this out. Honestly, I'm not really sure where to go from here. I'll let this Shopify Review Pulse idea play out, but unless that starts working, I just don't have any confidence that the agent will be able to find something it can actually do on its own to make money. The truth is that Google and a lot of the other services blocking AI logins is one of the biggest barriers to making this work. Our email addresses keep getting suspended, and the box can't really do much without being able to access accounts consistently. It needs me to be sitting in front of my computer, actively involved in too much of the process just to get logged into stuff. So, I don't know. What do you think? Do you have any ideas you'd like to see AutoBox try? Because at this point, I'm open to suggestions. Let me know in the comments if you've got a great business idea that you think AutoBox could run, and we'll see what happens together. And if you want to follow the experiment live, the public journal is still at autobox.theshepherdstack.com. Every run is there, the blocked gates are there, the awkward non-results and failures are all there. But hey, maybe one day soon, we'll see a real dollar or two landed there too. Can an AI find a way to make money on the internet on its own? So far, the answer is maybe, but it's not looking good. Hey, please hit that subscribe button if you want to keep following along with what AutoBox is up to, or if you're interested in seeing more videos about how to actually make AI do more work for you. And as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you back next time.